and our famous Airborne league.
Two pick! No!
When the going gets tough, the Dan gets going. I am nothing if not man incarnate. Because you can't spell Dan without man.
We are still stuck out here in the middle of nowhere.
My plan is complete. This power is all mine.
Oh man.
Run away, coward! Where are you so I can kill you myself?
You lose. Valhalla is mine.
My shadow.
So, Kelda, this is how your quest ends. Everyone that you've been protecting, captured or dead.
I can offer you something you want.
And what would that be?
Power.
To the death, then.
Now this is a fight.
You are the only one who can save Valhalla.
We have an agreement then.
Yes, Korok. We agree.
And I have a plan.
We're all gonna die.
What's wrong with this guy?
Welcome to ToV Live. It is Valhalla time. Happy 10-year anniversary stream. Let's go. Here, I gotta press a button. Where's this button? There it is. All right, everybody. Welcome. Happy Sunday. Happy Super Bowl Sunday to everybody. Apparently, there's a Super Bowl. I don't know. I haven't watched any football at all.
Me neither.
This year.
I found out because all the chips were on sale. Everything.
All the chips are on sale.
All the chips and snacks are on sale at the store I work at, and I was like, "Oh, what's going on? Oh, hey, Super Bowl." That's how I found out.
But it's it's party time. It's time for families get together. Have a reason to get together and spend time together. And so that is all good. But tonight we are gathered here together because it has been, guys. It has been almost 10 years tomorrow when I started this YouTube channel.
Wild.
Amazing. Thank God. Still here. Still going. And job completed. Did 3 seasons. When I started this YouTube channel, I was just releasing season 1. I didn't really have season 2 or season 3 even like written out and it wasn't until I like fully released that out, put it on YouTube, then I realized I'm like, I can do this better. I'm still here. Let me start writing a script for season 2 and 3, and that took a year to do, and then continued on doing it. So just it's incredible. But we will get into we'll start from the beginning, which is a very good place to start. For a second, first I'll just introduce panel here, and Beatdown Magic. You're here for the party. Glad to have you. I have with me tonight, of course, I am aka Ryan, aka Tales of Valhalla, and with me tonight I have a Sir Jeremy, lore master extraordinaire, has almost been here from the near darn beginning, helping me with the scripts and the lore. To make Tales of Valhalla, the stop motion animated show, as lore accurate as possible, even though we do take creative liberties in the show because it's not a strict Heroscape lore show. It does derive from things. We still try to make things as lore accurate as possible, and Jeremy's help has always been indispensable with the advice he's given me for the long hours that we would just spend time discussing the names of characters and places in Heroscape. Now we have so much knowledge, and we've streamed that. Like I look back on some of the streams we did.
I looked so little on those streams too. Like I
had no idea how to stream back then. I had no idea.
It is weird because I'm just like, I'm like, man, that was me. That was me 10 years ago. I'm like, I do not recognize myself. But yeah, talking to you about how to pronounce Krug and all that was fun. So.
And the incredible thing too, from all of that, Jeremy, like just last year, now, because back then the Heroscape wasn't even like it was a dead game, and there was no there was no way it was going to be revived. I mean, there was no foreseeable event in which that it was ever going to come back, and now we're here. Jeremy works for the company who's releasing Heroscape, working directly with the Heroscape a team,
so crazy.
Building lore. And Jeremy, like before we went on, was just showing the updated website to where they've been putting like stuff together and just updating the lore so everybody can catch up on what the lore was and what it will be in the future on Renegade's website. Again, and link description below if you're watching this on YouTube. I have a link that if you want to purchase Heroscape via Renegade, you can go through a link below, and that will actually give Jeremy some support via his channel and his crafting of lore. So if you want to check that out or anything Renegade has to offer, there's a link below for Jeremy. And then I got, before I introduce Sean a second, I got Marion in the chat there saying, greetings from Colombia. I just came to the stream to congratulate you on your 10th anniversary. I enjoyed spending time with your family, Ryan. Yeah. My wife and son, they've been away for a little over a week. Because my wife has her own ambitions, and one of the things she's been practicing for like almost 6 months is singing in a choir, and she did a beautiful job within her church in Colombia this past weekend. So that was a really wonderful thing to listen to. But Sean, so next person on our panel tonight is my good friend Sean, and I've known Sean. My gosh, it's been
2006, brother.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been 25 some years.
Oh.
Yeah,
That's almost as old as Heroscape. So.
Yeah, nearly, quite darn nearly. My
I'm
gosh.
doing some creepy research right now. I'm on the
Goodness.
ToV Facebook page. I am looking for the actual first post. And right now, the first thing I see is 2015.
Mm-hmm.
And let me see here.
I'll pop up like the first video that I popped up on the Tales of Valhalla YouTube page too.
The first post is all I'm looking for. Not even a video. It's just even
for Facebook.
We exist.
Right. My goodness.
Let me see.
Yeah, I mean, on Instagram and Facebook, there's probably a lot of stuff that, you wouldn't find on YouTube either. It's just like thoughts and comments and pictures, really. And if I had time, like guys, I've had the flu for like almost 2 weeks and recovering from that. So I haven't had much time to prepare for this, or feeling good to prepare for this. So if it would have been another time, I probably would be, showing those photos. But some other time we could probably go through that. At
February 4th, 2015 is our first.
There you go.
And it says in production, more info coming soon.
Yep.
Wow.
That's wild.
That is literally 10 years.
Yep.
Dive
here.
into the past.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh.
But anyway, Sean has his own like Twitch channel, YouTube channel, link description below for that, where he does some adult things. It's not usually for kids, but that is
try
his
to
channel.
make it for kids, but it just don't work out.
No. But
don't be watching it at work. It's NSFW.
And Sean Sean doesn't know Heroscape too much. But he's been my friend for a long time. He does do the voice for Sergeant Drake Alexander in the Tales of Valhalla Aftermath Chronicles series. Yeah. He's done many. He's been a good help. And we'll talk about that in a minute as well. So both these guys are here with me tonight. They've both worked with long hours with me. Including like 30 plus people. I mean, there are a lot of people who've put in a lot of time and effort for the show and channel over the years. And it wasn't just when the channel got started in 2015. It was lots of pre-production, even years before that, preparing and planning for things. Beatdown Magic Beatdown Magic asking,
to kidnap you and bring you back up to Michigan, brother. I'm just saying. I'm throwing that one out there, Just saying for a friend,
yeah.
That's the point about kidnapping. You don't always want to. You can say no
I'll kidnap you and drag you down here.
He'll come around.
I don't want the snake. But no, Beatdown Magic's asking, are there any plans to reprint RogueScaper in the future? As far as I know, no. But go ahead, Jeremy.
Yeah, I can give so obviously just to put it out there, energy out there so people know, I am a contractor to Renegade, so I don't represent the company. Whatever I say, please don't. I'm not speaking for Renegade. I'm speaking for what I know, what Renegade has said, and what things have been said in the past. So to answer that question, when Chris was in charge of the project back with Avalon Hill and the crowdfund, he made a statement in Discord saying that they, like Hasbro, basically no longer has access to the original molds that Heroscape was produced with. And if you remember, right, the process was a little bit different than how they make minis today, right? They don't STLs, all that kind of stuff. That wasn't a thing back then, right? They had like classic plastic print molds, that kind of stuff. That's all gone. They just don't have that anymore, right? The only way to be able to bring classic back would be to recreate some sort of print, some sort of mold or something like that, some sort of STL that mimics that. And there's always going to be like a change. You're going to be like, you get that print, and it's going to be like, that's not the same. Because they cannot, the original molds are just gone now, right? So from what I understand, Renegade's plan, what they want to do is to retrain some of these classic powers that we're used to and then put them towards newer stuff in the future. We won't be able to do like a direct, oh, hey, it's the Knights of Weston again. You know, nothing like that. But you'll probably see powers in later characters. You'll be like, oh, I remember this from so-and-so. That's what we're going to be doing, is bringing back those mechanics. But, you know, unfortunately, in terms of the models themselves, it's, that's history. It's gone.
Here's a alternate question though for that, or a follow-up question for that. Couldn't you just like do not a reprint but like a remold of classic stuff? You know, and then
that's
just re-release
again.
Stuff?
That's where it would just kind of like steps out of my bounds, because I wouldn't know.
All right.
What I do know is that they want to start with like powers first. They're working powers into the game, back into the game. Because that's the term they've used, is retrain, which I like that concept, like retraining this power back into the game. So they're bringing a lot of new players, you know, showing them what Scape is known for. Hey, this is Coward's Reward. Hey, this is this kind of stuff, right? And then I imagine, who knows what's in for the future in terms of those kind of plans, but I wouldn't know what the process would be required, because again, trademarks, licensing, all that kind of nonsense. And then it's just,
you definitely want to be able to reprint all of them. Yeah. Then there's too many to re-replicate.
You know what I mean? In a perfect world, it would be amazing to bring it all back. Yeah. But I imagine there's a whole bunch of stuff behind it. And again, the original molds are just gone. So like whatever the answer would be, if there is one, it won't be the same. Sure. And I think that's why right now they're just starting with powers. And then, you know, let's see where the brand grows from there. You know?
Right.
So.
All right.
But yeah, it's, you know, as a fan, oh man, it would be awesome to see them on the market again, but who knows, you know, if that's even a possibility. So
all right, and before
sorry, I didn't mean to derail the whole thing.
Oh no, you're fine. No, we just asked the question. But here, before we move on to reminiscing and things, I'm gonna do a quick contest shout out real quick, because I do have a contest ongoing, and we will do a random name selection for the winners on February 21st when we stream during the Renegade Con. For this, probably before Renegade Con starts, we'll spin the wheel, and whoever and all the requirement is leave a comment either live tonight for this stream, or this video of this stream, or the video that I'll make out of this little segment here. Leave a comment either below or during the live chat, and the winners are going to receive a signed card by one of the creators of Heroscape himself, Craig Van Ness. I have a few of these signed cards because this last year I got to meet Craig Van Ness in person at Gen Con.
He's such a bro.
It's a really wonderful moment, and he literally whipped out a pen and was like, "You have anything for me to sign?" Cool. And I was like, "Yes." Hold on a second. I went back, grabbed all the Airborne Elite and Sergeant Drake Alexander cards I had, and it was literally like almost a dozen of them. And hero guy, comment. All right, you're in. And he just signed a bunch of these. So there's more of these that I'll eventually give away, because I need to share them with you guys. You know, it's a little bit of history right there. And then the other one here, if it will, wait a second. I guess I need to do this. So card, and if it will fit. No. Okay, hold on. I need to reshare. Give me a moment. Okay. My goodness, I hate it when that happens. Here, give me a moment, because I did not select both at once, and it's a thing. All right, there is something else too that I'm going to give away, including that card. And Beatdown Magic says, so just talking here enters me. Yes, it does. You are entered. You are entered. Here, hold on a moment. I just gotta. Hi.
No.
Always technical difficulties.
I was just thinking of something smart Alec to say to that. I was like,
my goodness. Oh my.
Yeah. You're like, you are entered. You are entered. I was like, wow, did I go to the bar last night?
Someone being a smart. No, I don't want that. Here, hold on a second. Where is? Oh, there it is. Here. I don't want to share us. I want to share that. All right. There. Okay. And so there it is. Okay. So again, Craig Van Ness signed card, and a Master Win Chu Wu. That and again, link in description below. Link in the description below for these details. This is not a real Master Wu. This is
okay. I had questions.
Yeah, you have questions.
Is that Wu with sunglasses? Hold on. Like...
Yeah. This is Master Wu painted by RogueScaper himself. And then you have a card.
So funny.
So this is a printed out card, so there's nothing in the back. But still, it's a very nice 3D printed and painted Master Wu. You could probably get away with playing on a tournament. I'm perfectly honest, because it almost looks like the real thing. But
no, you probably.
I'm just saying. You honestly probably could.
You have the card, like
yeah, and this is a printed out card, but again, it looks just like the real thing. Just don't show the other side. But again, if you guys don't have a Master Wu, and you absolutely got to get one, for your monks, there it is. So I thank RogueScaper for supplying this. Actually been sitting on this miniature for over a year, so I'm glad I could actually finally get this out in a contest. So yeah, Master Wu, Airborne Elite signed card from Craig Van Ness. Together, one prize, 2 things. Leave a comment, and we will be doing that giveaway on February 21st. All right, so let me stop sharing and let me now get to here. Get to this thing. I need to do this thing and this thing. So first thing I'm gonna play tonight is the very first video that I ever posted on the Tales of Valhalla YouTube page. And Hero Guy, thank you so much for the 10th anniversary wishes. I appreciate that. Now, okay, I'm gonna share this. And so the first thing I ever shared or ever posted. Let me see. I need to get to the. I believe it's this one. Yep. Okay. So we can all view this together. Is the Tales of Valhalla Aftermath Chronicles Season 1 teaser trailer. And this is kind of a unique trailer because it's the one trailer that only has a little bit of stop motion. A lot of this is actually not stop motion. So here, let me do theater mode. And I think we should all be able to hear it, I think. Let's pop it up. And it used to be like I used to put contractions, and then I axed that after a while.
The classic branding.
I still like the music to this.
Mm-hmm.
It's very suspenseful.
Yeah, I don't remember if this, which is something I really pulled royalty free from the internet, or if this was Film Riot stuff, or Tryon Films stuff. I believe this was just pulled from the internet. Sorry, that might be a little loud for y'all.
This sounds like Film Riot, Tryon Films.
Might be. And then we get into the stop motion part.
Okay, here we have. I'm all right. I just have to get back up here. Good. Now, how do I fire this? Ooh, I'm so sorry. Is the cameraman okay?
And that was the original logo for season 1. and that logo was made by
10 years ago.
Yeah, was made by the guy who voices Kurok, the Elementalist. Actually, he did a little bit of GIMP, because I'm not great at that, like that type of stuff, using like GIMP or some of these some of the things that create things. What is it called? What's the term? I'm sorry. The what do usually people
special
use?
effects,
assets. Yeah, like assets or stuff like that. Or
what
do people
media.
What do people usually use to make that stuff besides GIMP?
Photoshop.
Yeah, there you go. Photoshop work.
Yeah. Media editing.
I don't do that type of stuff. I have people's stuff do that for me. So yeah. that's what Charles used, and then the voice of Henderson, Corey Wong, who voiced Henderson, was the first one to be used in that.
I think this equipment should be replaced.
And yeah, so at the very beginning here, this was just let's just revisit it a second. That's not stop motion. That just me is like holding like a static camera and then having stuff sit on like a blanket or a towel and me just moving it very, very slowly for like the zoom in. And then it's not until you get to the right there when you do the actual stop motion part of it. So yeah. Here. So that's the first video. Well, here, let me get back to there. Default view. So Memory Lane, that's the first trailer ever done. And then what I'm going to do is we're not going to look at all the stop motion stuff. Actually, we're try and look at some behind the scenes stuff here. We're just going to go back to season 1 and look at as much as we can on how things were kind of done. And I'll probably just talk over a lot of this. No. That's not what I'm looking for. Why did I go to... Okay. Season 1 production diaries. My goodness. Okay, that's season 1. There are the diaries. And I didn't do these for season 2 or 3 because they took a lot of time to do.
That's fair.
So, yeah. So I didn't do really... I mean, that's why I ended up doing just streaming behind the scenes, like near the end of stream, just to show the editing process and just to show, because the editing process took such a long time for seasons 2 and 3 that I needed to do something during the week, just to hold myself accountable. Never mind if I had an audience or not. I had to make sure I was holding myself accountable, getting it done. Otherwise, I wouldn't have gotten it done. All right, so let's bring this. Let's pop this up.
That's reminded me of getting something done here.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first production diary.
A little bit of a mustache there. That couldn't join.
You look so different,
you had that.
You look so different.
I had a lot more hair back then, and I was...
His face was a little fuller.
Yeah, it's because I was on steroids at the time. I mean, keep in mind, like, dealing with Crohn's disease, and during this time, I was in and out of hospitals at the time with intestinal blockages. So I was on, at the very least, prednisone most of the time, which, I mean, did an unnatural weight gain and face filling.
My name is Ryan. I am from...
I'm jealous. You have all that weight loss, and I have all this freaking weight.
Yeah, it was. I was still very thin. I was still never above 120.
Basically, just how and why did I come up with this project? Because you see this teaser trailer.
And this was living in Michigan at the time, and you can I can hear in the background like air conditioning or heater going.
And you see these characters.
It's that early era stuff, you know.
Yeah.
The journey.
Yep. I definitely didn't have this type of microphone back then. Actually, I think what I had at the time was a flip camera. If anybody knows, is a little handheld camera.
I remember you had that. That was after you had your Panasonic.
Yeah, the Panasonic, which was VHS-C type tape.
I remember that. You filmed a lot of stuff and then had to convert it to your computer.
Yes, I did. Digitally.
Oh, nightmare fuel.
That's how you did it back then.
Yeah.
Then USB, transfer started being a thing for better video.
Adventures or misadventures, if you want to call them that. I'm going to go back to where it all started is when I was introduced to Heroscape, which was a while ago. I think it was several years ago.
Several years ago at that time.
Yeah.
Now it's even more.
Friend who was doing a podcast based off of...
All right, guys, I'm going to have to take a temporal break. I got two little ones that need to get fed, and I need to use the little boys' room as well.
Go ahead, sir.
always loved
Be right
Heroscape.
back in a few.
Heroscape
All right.
was my favorite.
So yeah, this is just giving a background
I always wanted
on
to do something within this universe.
my buddy Jason's podcast called the Tabletop Battlefield, which we did until like 2010.
Shirt
Yeah.
right
And I
here.
still have that shirt.
You can see it in the underlying part, and there's something in the back here I want to show you as well. Just give me 1 second here. I got to do a quick change. Hold on. And there you go. New shirt. Here's the one I was wearing. Tabletop Battlefield shirt.
The best edit I ever did back at that
Just
time.
so you can see-
Special effects.
See here again, the camera was not great, but yeah, all does hate me.
But,
Them flip
anyway,
cameras. I actually bought like 2 of those flip cameras because they're just
was
cheap
part of
and
that,
easy. They were like,
host helped
I think
host
less than
that
$100 at
podcast
that time. Now you probably could find
for
them
2 years.
for
That
like
show's
$20
been
bucks.
discontinued for about 3 or 4
Yeah.
years now, though we still do like Christmas episodes every
I
once
don't
in
think
a
people
while.
use them much
It's
anymore.
always fun to get back together with those guys and do something. But so that's how I started basically getting.
I
into
think
Heroscape.
this is the last time I
always
actually
loved
like
the
sat with
simplicity
Kyle
of
and
how to-
Jason,
how to
like all
play the
3 of us
game,
together at that
but
time.
also just
Actually,
even though
I
it's
mean I've seen
that
Jason in
such a
person over the
sense
years,
of
but
universe
and
and
Jason's usually with us on podcasts. But
characters
Kyle,
from
I haven't
all
seen him much. I mean,
sorts of realms of space and
he's
time
married.
and
He's
stuff.
got a
So
he's got a kid himself.
really
He's got a
looking forward
son.
to
So
see
I
what
mean,
I
he
can
keeps
do,
he keeps busy.
Basically on the realm of stop motion
And here's some of the first times showing
as far as
the animating
myself,
part. And
basically starting out as a filmmaker, and this is my
I've always used a T3i for the stop motion animations. And the thing is, though, it took some time to figure out
never really done stop motion on this scale.
how
It's
to
really
do
boring.
stop motion on a
So when you
T3i.
see, like the first few episodes, you might think, okay, it's a little bit amateurish, but I get better.
And see how
going along,
like
'cause I
that.
learned.
There's a little bit of
This is-
shaky
this is
cam
really the first
there, and
time
it
doing
was
this. I'm
developing
doing
the
this
fact that
development
you
skills
can't touch
and
the
get better and
camera
better.
when you're taking the pictures.
Yeah.
Like you
Big
can't
reasons
just
why I'm
snap
doing this, and
like
there is
the
other
shutter
reasons
button
why
on
I
the
love
top,
RogueScaper.
because then it moves the camera. And I used to have like a remote to take a picture, but in order to take a picture, you had to point the remote in front of the camera. It wouldn't work pressing it behind the camera. So I ended up having to get a remote that would connect into the camera, and that's what I would end up using with that. You could have like a connected-in remote, and that's what it ended up being.
All the factions basically do not trust each other.
Nice.
They're trying to collect minor glyphs of power to help them, just in case, someone attacks somebody.
This wasn't. I mean, this was a big shot way back when. Not much now.
Yeah.
I'd probably do it way different now, but.
You're gonna see a lot of them, obviously during the first season, but
I always love that
what they're
spiral
gonna be
tower
doing
thing.
is landing
I've
in a
I've
pretty cool.
very
yeah, I've used that type of tower
territory,
setup for like
and they're gonna
others
have to find a
Kingdom
glyph,
quite a bit. There's some shots of that in
follow the
season 3.
tower, on their own, and we'll go from there. And they're going to encounter some monsters, and try to get out. Try to
viewing this
out
now,
of
actually, I
those
did
situations.
okay with these production diaries. Like I put
mean,
some time and
yeah,
effort in it.
Any other time that
Shot Joey Ranieri. There he is, Lieutenant Dan himself.
their recordings, they always
Nice.
think, this is going to be.
And yes, that's what the voice acting was.
Said and done. I think so, too.
Starting out, it was just like
So,
mobile
give a little more info
on
as
PVC
well,
pipe. It was a
what I'm gonna
snowball
do
microphone.
from now
Just crazy nuts.
until, and
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna, like, a lot of people have been
Jeremy,
asking
if you can
about
take
this,
care of
and,
whatever
more than likely,
spammers
the
on
release date will be
Yeah.
I see it there
sometime end
on
of summer,
Twitch.
Early fall. Trying to estimate how long it'll take to do everything, like do the production and then get everything done, edited in post. I think it's probably going to take that long to get everything done. But in the meantime, what I'll do is these little production diaries of maybe start with what happened during pre-production.
And this is one of the voice actors for
the
Estavara.
actual production.
There.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I was looking at
Stop
something else for a
motion,
second.
working with the voice actors a little bit, and then post-production.
A lot of people put a
where,
lot of time. Thank you,
can
Beatdown
see
Magic,
what
for
the
reporting.
editing's going on, and I will also cut a full trailer of what the season is.
And that full trailer, I think, was one of my worst trailers I ever cut because it just went on for too long.
Oh, no.
You know, I'm not going to show it. It's just it hurts my own head. So I started doing like a lot more rapid fire like trailers. I mean, you got to be bad in order to get better. You know, at things.
This whole story arc is probably like a 3 to 4 season story arc.
Don't remember that house though. Oh, that's your mom's house.
Nope. That's when we lived in Warren.
As well after that. That's
I think it was Warren. Yeah, Warren.
Yeah, I was never there for that. It does remind me of your mom's old home, though.
If you remember Genevieve and Oswaldo, it was their house that we rented for. Like a few years.
God.
Yeah.
I try to forget them, and I know he's passed on.
Yep.
Their opinion of me was not high at all.
Yeah, me neither.
Subscribe to YouTube, which you can do down on subscription as well, or here on I think it's right here on the link button. I would appreciate it. Thank you very much for watching. I should be doing other production videos soon, more than just me sitting here.
All right, let's hop on. Okay, let's do the second one. Some of the we can't get into all these because some of these are like a lot of minutes and we only have a little bit of time tonight, so I might skip through some of this. All right, and then I start talking about the screenwriting.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah, I definitely had a lot more dark hair back then. My hair, like after my son was born, that hair turned gray and white, and it really in a hurry.
Yeah, well, look on the bright side. At least you still have hair.
Slightly, it's going. It's going.
Pretty soon you'll look like me.
First production diary, why there hasn't been.
And this is what I had to use too at the time. Just not a PC. I actually got the PC. I assembled the PC that I'm currently using when my wife got into labor with our son. That was some years ago. But before that time, I was using that Vio basically, which was a workhorse, but it was still a laptop. So
just a little bit delayed, but I hope to get the stop motion all finished within the next 8
Look at those stills. Some of those stills are just so nice.
The update for what's going on here. So
the beauty of a Canon T3i.
Oh my goodness! And pull what you can pull from it, really, if you do some research.
General outline of.
I need to get another one for when I do scouting.
And so yeah, this is all right. So this is just me doing like behind the scenes.
I remember that couch.
Writing, yeah, and I got a cat there. Who's still with us.
Well, that music is definitely
that's Triune
from
that's Triune Films.
Yeah, Triune Films.
Yep. Lighting's not great, for that.
It almost looks like you filmed in C-Log, eh? It's just weird to me.
Yeah, it's script writing process. Script writing process.
No, I meant the way that you filmed that. It looks like you filmed it in log.
And I try and continue writing. So I figure out this process is very slow. So what I usually do is I write like half a page full of stuff, and then I type it on my computer, what I've written, fill in blanks.
I'm relearning what I told myself 10 years ago.
I can't even understand my own.
But I have to relearn this too whenever I start tackling season 4.
Or whatever, I add that in later. I just basically try and get the dialogue down, and mostly what I'm feeling like the scene should be and where the location should be, how the characters are moving about.
I'm gonna skip ahead a second. So this is what we started doing, like, is assembling whoever I could together for script reads, so we could start reading through scenes, even if it wasn't that particular voice actor's characters, so we could just get an idea what the voices would sound like. It's always good to pre-plan these things, and again, everybody, it was a strictly volunteer basis. Everybody put their time in and effort in, just based on the fact that we were friends or family, and just very valuable thing, And that's Corey. That's the guy who voices Henderson. I mean, Sean, you at the very beginning, we can actually talk about this a little bit. For season 1, I mean, Sean playing Sergeant Drake Alexander. The reason why we had Sergeant Drake Alexander like over a radio is because at the time Sean was like living in Florida. There was no way for me to get in Florida for Sean to do in-person voiceovers. So we literally like recorded his voice over Skype, and then it was already kind of distorted. So I just made it even more distorted, played with that distortion, and had his character, Drake Alexander, just be like just reporting to his troops over the radio. So you don't actually ever see physically Drake Alexander in season 1, just his voice, just because of that inconvenience. Because I knew Sean would be a great satire type character for Drake Alexander, because, Sean, give an example.
Oh, what do you want me to say?
Well,
you mean now?
Yeah.
Everybody get to the chopper.
Yeah, something like that. Well, some people don't like the fact that Sergeant Drake Alexander is being voiced by someone with the Austrian accent. You know, it's the fun. That's the fun of what Tales of Valhalla should be. It's not strictly Heroscape Lore show. It's meant to be fun. You know.
Yeah. Was someone trying to say that wasn't lore accurate? And like,
yeah, exactly. That's the point.
Like, it's a show. Yeah.
Although near the
Tale of Valhalla.
near the end of season 3, we do have Sean speak in a normal voice, which actually, and there's Raylan, voice of Raylan right there, Nicola. And so those who couldn't like do a script read, I would just need to go over Skype, and there's Tyler Fine who voiced Toothpick. But wait, what was my point?
I'm not mistaken, you're recording his voice in Skype.
Say what? No. There's Sean right there. There's the big guy himself.
Yeah, that's in Skype.
That's a 10-year younger Sean. And there's Charles, who voices Karak and Evar and others.
We do, which is like into phase 3, is called.
So we're just reading through the script. What was the point I was making? I forgot.
We're getting to phase 3 though.
You're talking about voicing, and then we got into this.
Yeah, which is kind of voicing.
At least this is what
I
did as far as completing my script.
Let me skip. Okay, here.
It's been one hell of a long trip, but man, was it ever fun.
Yeah.
2 days out of a certain.
Yeah, and so then there's Charles and Tyler there together.
And read through this script.
And there's Jason.
Get a general idea of
good times. Just reading through scripts. So not even
Jason used to be heavy, because I always thought of Jason being a beanpole, but he looked like he had some weight on him there.
A little bit. I mean, Jason's worked out too, because he's done like Ironman triathlons in the past years. So
true. I mean, I always thought he was
really
skinny and muscular. That's just how I always remembered him.
You're not paying them.
No, I mean, this was 10 years ago, but he's buffed up a bit.
They have to have a motivation and drive in order to be, part of.
They have to show up, basically. Voice actors have to show up in order to do it. And believe me, I've had some people to where they've committed to like voice acting, and I never heard from them again. It's happened.
Those are biting the ass.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not holding anything against people from doing it. If they can't do it, great. I'd rather have a sincere no than a false yes. And at the same time, it's like, you got to learn to let somebody go too. It's like, if they don't respond to your messages, you just can't hang on to them like a hair on a biscuit. You just got to move on, and then figure out, who's going to take whatever role and whoever's available to. So, it's just part of that process. Okay, let's move on to the next one here. Again, these production diaries, you can find the playlist section on Tales of Valhalla YouTube channel if you so choose. If you want to see what like season 1 and essentially nearly like season 1 through season 3 production process was.
Everyone, welcome to another production diary.
Oh boy, I'm wearing a sleeveless shirt. Here we go.
Ooh, muscles.
No. Barely. And again, anybody who's watching this via like YouTube or Twitch, leave a comment so you enter in for the contest.
The main production. That's what we're gonna do.
And you can't leave comments like, "Wow, what rippling muscle you have."
Number 1.
Sorry, it's my favorite Bruce Lee quote.
Else I worked with in the pre-production phase.
Oh, and okay, here's Jeremy. Okay, we got it. Okay, there's Jeremy.
Oh my god.
There's Jeremy
with
kind of pointy head, but without the beard.
I don't even know what's going on there. Yeah.
From him,
that's a goatee.
screen right there now.
It's ancient.
Yeah, we were just going through the script and story and lore and names and stuff.
Information about backstory.
Wow, dude, you look way different back then, man.
Yeah.
We all went through a lot of transformations. We certainly.
You're a hipster.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's huge difference there.
In future seasons,
Definitely got a lot more facial hair now.
Yeah. All had a lot of growing to do. We really did.
This whole story for,
We're all grown up now.
This guy even helped write.
Not me. I'm just a bald kid, man. Leave me alone.
Okay, here let's go to this part of the production here. If we can skip to this. And so so this is the bag. This is the biggest set I had for season 1. One of the biggest sets, and that was for the like fight scene when Airborne late faces Doom Tef Guard, kind of like monster under a bridge type thing.
But we'll see how it goes.
And I literally put that like in the living room, and I set that up. I set that set up to like split apart eventually, because for close-ups you got to like break down the set in order to get your close-ups.
So I had to figure out, okay, what materials am I going to do to make up a studio that's cheap?
Oh yeah.
Mostly DIY.
I still have that background, and I got that background from Joanne Fabrics. Best sky background you could get. And then,
it's funny, I actually know there's a local Joanne's Fabrics in my town, and I've always been like, I wonder what they sell. Now I know.
I had
background.
Yeah,
that's wild.
I originally thought I was going to use like a blue felt, or I might have used like a keyed in, like a chroma key in background. And I tested those types of things, but that sky blue with like the looked like cirrus clouds, that just seemed to work best.
Yeah.
So that's
iconic.
And okay, so and that's my father-in-law, and so what I'd have to do, because we were in such a small house, is I would literally have all my stuff up in the attic, like everything, Heroscape materials, like everything minus my camera, up in the attic. I'd have to go pull everything down, and then set up the set. And then sometimes during the day, people would be coming to the house, so I'd have to tear down, like during the night after doing the set, put it all back up there before, the day gets started. And a lot of times I would not have help.
Secrets to how Ryan stayed so skinny over all these years. Film it,
Father-in-law, when he's here, he's helpful enough to where he helps.
Okay, so let's go ahead. So lighting, still have these can lights, awful bent out of shape, but yeah, cords.
Also use assorted pieces of cardboard. And it's good to have backdrop, so I have a day.
Yeah, Jason made that star backdrop actually for me, so I've used it sometimes.
Camera, additional
for night scenes. And you wouldn't believe how essential leg weights are. Leg weights hold down that camera to keep your camera from shaking. And so I still have those same leg weights. Yeah, you got to make sure everything is as still as possible. So you got to hold down like your camera tripod. You got to hold down the table to make sure nothing moves that you don't want to move. So it's about motion control. It's about lighting control.
I'll have to do that for mine. They were telling us to grab like sandbags, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to get a sandbag. But if the leg
weights,
ankle weights actually work,
yeah,
those
they do.
I wouldn't mind picking a couple up. How much were those usually?
Those
like
I had for free. I picked up somewhere. I just got some new ankle weights that aren't as heavy, but I think they were like $25-$50 on Amazon. Something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to try to wigwam my way to get up into that.
I'm sure you could go to a local Goodwill or Sally's and find something.
And so here's a little
video I'm in there all the time.
Yep.
Small, one big, and you can notice the size difference. So here we go.
And so okay, building a set, and this one, this is the set, like the desert set, where Garrett and Light Folly, are complaining about a tower in the middle of nowhere. So this is me actually building that set. And when you have very little sand tiles, you got to make sure you place things in as accurately as possible. So you're building everything up from the bottom of grass tiles, rock tiles, and then covering everything in sand tiles.
To have the 24 hex sand tile back then.
Yeah, that would have been that would have been important, I guess.
That we just got.
And then some things like don't require because you're only building what the camera sees. That's an important rule. So for these parts that the camera's not going to see those tops, so you can just build something up, and that also provides an area to where instead of seeing the sides of a room, you're just seeing the pillars of the terrain just building up. So you gotta also understand in advance what the camera's gonna end up seeing and how far you can make that wide shot wide. And so building some towering terrains on the side can help a lot with that.
First, we're going to start with the daytime set, which is the small bedroom.
Yeah, so during the daytime, in rooms to where you can control lighting, you set things up in small, and you just basically blanket the windows so you can have lights control. So I literally did this in bedrooms. Bathrooms, all kinds of stuff. Okay, but we need to skip ahead. Let's see, and there's some stop motion. So by this time, yeah, I would have the remote that's connected to the camera, and you can just go to town doing the stop motion for these. Very, very close up shot there. And I know exactly what that scene is at the end of season 1 there.
Okay, now that you've seen
and this is setting up this was my studio setup when it was very big set. And then PVC pipe stands. And so these PVC pipe stands also doubled as stands for the microphone and subsequent sound barriers for the microphone when doing the voice acting as well. So multi-purpose stuff.
Yeah.
That one you're using for your second, let's see, that'll be your backlight you just lit up. So it's looking like your fill light, the one on the right-hand side. I think you gave me that stand, but I'm not sure.
Probably. And then I also eventually, I don't know if at this time, but eventually I would have a light as well in the front here attached to the camera, just a small light, just to hide any shadows and to really show the miniatures' faces as well. Yeah, there's that set. Oh yeah. That was a tough one to animate too, and I did that in the middle of our living room, and I couldn't break that one down. So there was literally for a week or two, just having that in the living room and making sure to cover it, so the cats wouldn't get at it, because there was a time or two in the past to where I didn't tape these sets down starting out, and then I would just build a set, leave it on the table in the middle of the night, and all of a sudden you'd hear a crash. And it was the cat rubbing up against the thing, and it just the terrain sliding off, and then you're like, oh crap, I gotta build all this again and try to figure out, okay, I know I left this stop motion set at this scene, so now I gotta redo this scene. So yeah, you ended up just making sure that things are taped down a lot better, because still got cats. Alright, let's I'm gonna some of those original things. I mean, and this was me still trying to figure out shot setup and stuff. I mean, it took season 1 to develop, my own way of doing things. All right, so what's this one about? And this is part of the editing process, and I literally had to leave the house. There was a library really close to me, to where they had your own private rooms that had just outlets and such, and so that's where I did a lot of the editing for season 1 in. Was just this laptop, this library, and again in Warren, Michigan. Okay.
Backdrop. We are getting ready.
And so, okay, a lot of this is just a lot of the animating process, so the production process.
Okay, just checking in.
Of animating, because I recorded myself a lot of times. I'm just going to skip through a lot of this, though.
Almost the whole first episode, working out, okay, how to make sure the figures were doing the correct movement for dialogue.
And again, I didn't have this microphone back then, so there's a lot of fun, terrible audio.
There you see me with.
I want to go.
Well, they say, you know, that's how you're going to lose over half your audience is crappy audio.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I had to change it, but at the same time, you got to start somewhere. You know.
I know.
So. That's
I got to give you a hard time, though.
Oh, of course.
I'm in the middle.
Of course, absolutely.
The middle of doing all this stop motion. I'm like almost about halfway through it. Maybe a little less, but almost halfway. And I gotta tell you that I've been
it's just incredible that you're able to take this set and then, and again, a lot of these animations were done in the middle of the night. I lost a lot of sleep. I mean, it's sleep that I probably wouldn't have had to, and anyway, because I was going through a lot of pain at that time as well, with Crohn's and colitis and such.
So I just wanted to mention during this huge, and this whole scene for this particular set took a few weeks to do.
Yeah, it took a few weeks to do.
You can see by the time I was able to get to
What is that right underneath your hand where that camera's at? Is that a gel on that light?
This?
Yeah.
No, it's just a different colored light. I think it was just
okay.
a green light bulb that I guess I used at that time. I was trying to be creative. Now I just use just a regular, you know, like smaller daytime, like lower watt light.
Shutter switch that is attached to the camera, but I'm not touching the camera specifically.
Yep, I already explained that. Okay. And then there's one moment in the scene to where like the Dumatef falls off the bridge. So this is one angle to where he just like backs out, and so you got to get those like close-ups, and then there is like a wide shot to where you see the water come up and down from a splash. You gotta really learn to visualize the angles and what you actually need to tell your story, and then get all those shots done, and they're not in sequence.
You see a lot of the terrain pieces I have broken up. I have the other half.
A lot of terrain, okay.
I am going to be taking a couple week, like a 2 or 3 week break. Anyway,
alright, let's go now to what's next. I think voice actors.
I got a question for you. And I know this, if there's anybody out there listening that's going to be an aspiring, stop animation artist. But when you are shooting your sequences out of order, do you use a slate to just kind of basically label everything so you can keep it in order? Or what is your method of madness to that?
No. Yeah, I understand the the methodology and the usefulness of a slate, but no, I have a script, and I put a lot of notes in the script, and I box, I put a box beside everything, whether it's like wide shot, medium shot, close up, to whatever line of script. Oh my goodness, that's a young Sean.
Jesus, man, I look fat. Well, I'm fat now, but I was much skinnier then, and I looked fatter then.
Without facial hair. And there's my ma.
Yeah, right.
My ma did voice acting for Estevar, so it's kind of cool. And so what was I saying? Okay, so yeah, to answer your question, yeah, I basically put check mark boxes, and then I check mark them in the script when I do shots.
How do you keep your shot in order for when you're editing? You know where you are, what you're doing. For me, that would be something confusing without a slate.
I just go scene by scene when I edit stuff.
Okay,
and then,
so you do keep it in storyboard line.
Yeah, in a sense. I mean, I just throw in like the timeline when I edit stuff, that particular scene, and then I just go from there. Obviously, it depends on the scene. There are scenes that like maybe have like less than 10 shots. There are some scenes that had like 50 plus shots, so it depends.
And to start off, voices sounded kind of like they were coming from an echoey room. And most...
Yeah, and this was one thing too, is like learning how to get like good voiceover audio, and try to like deaden the like any echo. That took some time. That took some learning.
Wouldn't it have been easier just to put a dead cat on your microphone?
I'd have to kill the cat.
Not a literal cat. Oh, Jesus. Okay, forget I asked anything.
Yeah, no, but I ended up like finding ways to like make less bounce from sound.
Right, I mean, usually with all my microphones, when I have somebody up close, I use a dead cat. That's the reason why I was asking that.
Oh, like pop filter or something like that?
No, it's that little fuzzy liner that you put over the top of your microphone to deaden the air.
Okay. I got you. Yeah, just it's something like similar to what I have here on this microphone. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it looked like you were packing clothes on top of it. Same concept.
It's the same concept. I mean, the first microphone was a snowball mic, which was actually more for recording music than voiceovers. So you couldn't really put anything on top of it because it was just too big.
Snowball mic, is that the one that I seen when you guys were in Detroit?
Yeah, that's what I originally used. I mean, I only got this microphone a lot more recently.
Okay.
And this was dancing when people would be finished with all their lines.
I have so many typos when it comes to...
And the song that we would usually dance to, because the Lego Movie had just released at that time, was "Everything Is Awesome."
Oh yeah! Wow.
That used to, I just
But it took 2 tries, or 3. 2 tries to realize.
We didn't have fun doing this at all. You know, it was very very serious, very serious. You know,
I don't know how we can't laugh at all. You know.
No, we can't. This is.
He talks like that a lot too. Yeah. For the fact that it is unusual. Sounds like another typical day on this planet.
It was better. A little bit. Not a lot. I wasn't crying tears of joy here. I don't see tears. No tears.
Okay, we got it. Okay, let's keep on moving here. So yeah, there's a lot of interaction with voice actors here.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. All right. I'm just gonna move forward, skip ahead, and let's see. Get to this. I think this part. Oh, I don't know what this is about. I guess we'll find out. Here, hold on. I gotta find out where we're at actually here in this. Okay.
Brian here. Welcome to another Tales of Valhalla production diary. Sorry, it has been so.
I'm gonna skip.
That my skill was improving by the end of.
Yeah, that's good. I like it how like. Okay, one thing when you colorize the shot, it's good to use loots. And I figured out loots near the end of like season 1.
It's funny you call them loots. I've always called them LUTs.
Oh, okay, LUTs, loots, whatever. They all do the same thing. It's basically color correction. And one thing you got to do though is make sure that like visually, like color-wise, is that your image that you're taking a photograph of is as flat as possible. And white balance, right, like crazy, just to make sure that everything is that way.
Well, see, that's one thing I always wondered. How come you don't use the magic lantern for the Canon T3i? Because you can still take pictures, but you can take them in log.
Like that's a digital thing that you put in the T3i, right?
Yeah, well, actually, it's a firmware that you use on your card, and you don't actually install it, but you run it from the card.
Okay.
And
I never figured out how to. I never figured out how to do that. I investigated it, but I never figured out how to do that.
studio area.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, that's easy. I could send you some videos on that.
Here of just
It'll make it easier.
I think at one point, like I just couldn't download anything, or I didn't have the firmware for it.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if it's minor or not, but it's like
Yeah, when I did it on that one that I gave you, it was actually really good. You put it on the SD card, and then you just, one time run the firmware update, and then every time you turn your camera on, it automatically is running that firmware.
It's heavy though. It's GIMP.
Really kind of cool. When you're done with it, you want to go back to normal, just pull the card out and turn on your camera. You're good to go.
Gotcha. No, I might have to attempt that like sometime in the future. Oh, I'll tell you one time too, like during like the making of these, I don't know if it was like season 2 or the end of season 1, but I went deaf at one point during production.
From what?
My right ear, just like I was unable to hear in it at all. Like it's like I totally could not hear anything. Very panicky. Came to find out because I went to the ear doctor like right away. It was just a huge wax buildup, but it was a buildup enough in the inner ear that I was literally just completely deaf. I could not hear a thing out of that side. But I mean, I got it cleaned out and then I was fine. Thank God. But
that scared the hell out of me.
It did. It did me.
And gonna start building another set too to see if I can get 2 sets done.
I like the behind the scenes in this moment here, as long as like that was one of the best shots of season 1 when the air elemental like showed themselves like in this. I don't know how I got the lighting so good underneath that thing, but it was
actually is awesome.
It was a good shot. Yeah. Okay, this light here, this is actually comes from a company called Luminade. They're actually supposed to be like emergency type lights that you can charge them via solar power, and then you can use them for emergencies, and they float and everything, and they're like waterproof. Although the ones I used ended up deteriorating over time to where they don't work anymore. They're not useful.
Can't change the batteries out. Can't change the batteries out.
No, it was solar powered, so they just had like little solar panels in them.
Gotcha.
So there was nothing you could change, and Jose played with them so much too when he was a baby, ended up destroying them. Yeah.
Probably the second season.
Yeah, this is one of the last shots basically for season 1. So this is I kind of did this in sequence. I think this is one of the last shots I did with it, I believe.
All right, gentlemen, just a pre-warning here. I got about 5 minutes, and then I need to bolt out for the evening.
Oh, you do need to get out. Okay. Am I going to backstage by myself? That would stink. But anyway, okay. So here, I'm just going to skip to this last one. I don't know if much more I can show. I'm just seeing if anything else comes to mind.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Tales of Valhalla: The Aftermath Chronicles production diary. And for this production diary, I'm going to show all of you a little bit of what it took to make this.
Okay. Well, we don't need to see that. Again,
that's actually pretty sick looking.
That was like the second fight scene in season 1 where Airborne Elite versus a bunch of Mara warriors, but I'll stop showing. I'll take my stuff and go home. What else can I say? Actually, here, let me check. I'll make sure that. All right.
I mean, with what you've recorded, you don't realize it. I mean, even me through school, this is like a refresher for even just alone on lighting. How you're going to do things and with what doing things. It's amazing to me at how, cinematography is correlating over to stop motion.
Yeah.
The ideas, the concepts, the key lighting, the filler, and the kicker light. It's all translating over. It's the same. It's awesome. Well, I mean, once you learn it, you're just like, wow. Oh. Okay.
It becomes like riding a bike. I mean, you just got to know,
Yes.
you know, you already know how to set things up. It's just, you know, going through the steps and learning through it. Yeah. And what it comes down to is just it's motion control, lighting control, you know, and then just making sure you have the materials and the time in order to tell the story. Yeah, and that's virtually it. So, I mean, that's how the channel started. I suppose I just cover for a second, I mean, where we're currently at. Like, we finished season 3 a couple of years ago. And ever since then, I've been kind of on a break. Not really, because in that time, I mean, we've had a lot more subscribers, a few members, got monetized just this last fall, or half monetized this last fall to accept like super chats, memberships, and stuff like that. So that's been really cool. And for only at like a little over 600 subscribers, that's very difficult. You need an audience viewing stuff, because it takes like 500 plus subscribers and a lot of watch time hours. And so whether or not someone's backing me, they're backing me for the fact that they're actually watching stuff. And that has a lot to do with the ToV podcast, and just mix and matches of both. So all you out there who provide support in any way, whether it's likes or views or watch time, it is extremely important, and I do appreciate it, because when it comes to the ToV podcast, and I've already talked about this before, so I'll just explain it briefly. Age of Annihilation came up, and that's where the podcast was birthed, and it was a way to keep me busy, and now it keeps me even more busy, of just talking through Heroscape. And now we have the podcast regular things that we do is going through Squads and Heroes, Heroscape Lore, and now we're starting to do VC Heroes. We do sometimes like news and updates when it comes to Renegade, since Renegade is releasing new Heroscape. So we're gonna be busy. We're gonna keep busy over the years, probably for another 10 years or more. So that's one thing that will keep the channel going, and I do appreciate anybody who does watch the podcast via the audio sphere or here on YouTube as well. But I suppose that's what's happening currently. What about the future? Well, that is a good question. I mean, the future, let's just say that there are like, and this is all I can say for at this time, because we have things with like Adventure Together Games, Source and Time Strike, which will be a different channel altogether eventually. But let's just say there are future prospects for me doing things more professionally when it comes to stop motion animation. That's always been a pipe dream. That was the dream from the beginning, no matter how ridiculously impossible it might have seemed at that time, because of like 10 years. I don't know if I'm going to be alive in 10 years, let alone alive and thriving, which thank God I am.
Yeah, you came close a couple times.
A few.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not going to go much further. I don't want to disclose your information.
Oh no, it's fine.
Not my story to
about
tell.
It all the time,
but we were fairly worried, man. I was worried, at least. I know that much.
Yeah. So yeah, and it was again, and I've said this before, but it was a great thing to here I go now, to stand in front of Craig Van Ness and tell him, I'm telling him that I'm sure he's had people tell him, this game has changed my life, and I'm like, I don't know if anyone's ever told you that this game has actually saved my life. And it literally did. It quite literally did, because if I didn't have these types of goals to live for, I can't guarantee that I'd be sitting here today. So yeah, lots to be thankful for that. So and one other thing as well, on this journey and this process of working with people and trying to make a story, you have to involve people. No matter how isolated you are, no matter how much you do, you have to rely on the talent and time of other people, usually volunteers. And the amount of help that people have given is just so much, and the value of, I don't care if I make a dime, doing this. It's the treasure of having friends and relationships is one of the things I value most, because when you pass away, when this mortal coil, like goes away, and it will for all of us, you can't take any of this with you. It stays. It's not coming with you. But what you can take with you is the memories of the people that you were with and that you worked with, and the friendships you've developed. So that's the thing that I hold as the most valuable thing in my life. So I do thank you guys, and I thank everyone else that has been involved with this project and who will be involved with this project in the future, because it's a very important thing for me. But season 4, let's just say it's still a work in progress. I'm not gonna promise anything just yet, other than I would love to do it. And eventually, even if I don't get backing for it, whether it's by the community or not, I mean, and there are some people that like said, I'm invested in you. I've given this. There was a couple weeks ago, someone was talking about, and I'm not going to give their name because it was like a private donation. But someone donated me amount and said, we have family who have Crohn's disease, and we do appreciate the fact that, you represent, living with this yet still trying to thrive, throughout these, throughout the, your difficult times. And so I do appreciate that, and shout out to that person who was kind enough to do something like that. But yeah, season 4, I already know what I need to do, and whether it takes, the next 5 or 50 years to do, I'd love to do at least one other seasonal story arc, if not 2, because
I love it. I love it. The positivity. You're like, I'm not sure if I'm going to be here in another 5 to 10 years. Now you're talking like 50 years in the future.
Why not?
That's positivity, brother.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, at the very least, I want to work towards it, because even if I can't accomplish it, maybe someone might someday.
Nah, you're going to do it. You're going to be an old ornery bastard like myself. This is what you have to look forward to.
I hope so. Maybe you'll see this hair totally white in like 10 years or so.
Hey, if you have hair, man, all the power to you.
If I have hair, yeah, that's a thing. All right. Oh yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's pretty much what I got. Anything else you guys want to say? Because I guess we can sign off in a minute.
No, I'm pretty good. I've been vocal all the way around. I bow myself out to this young lad over here. Henry, Harry, your wizard, please, by all means.
Well, so I don't know. There's a lot to be said, and I don't want to take all the time, but I do want to thank Ryan for the opportunity to be part of this experience, because I still remember your Facebook post asking for help all those years ago, and I just remember being I still remember just being really confident that I was like, he's gonna need my help, because in my mind I was like, nobody knows the story. Nobody knows the story like I do. That's just how I've always had that sense, because I'm obsessed with this game, right? So I'm like, nobody knows the story like I do. He needs my help. That's what I thought. And so I sent you that message because I was like, hey, I will help you with this backstory. And literally 10 years later down the line, here we are. I'm working on the backstory, and it's like, wow, that's weird. But I can say, and I don't think it is too far-fetched to state this, that I would not be here working on official Heroscape if I didn't get to work with your hero.
Mm-hmm.
And so, again, thank you for your friendship, for the opportunity, for being a part of this project, man. You've given me a lot of good memories. So I'm just, yeah, oh man, I'm like, Yeah, 10 years, man. It's been good. So thank you for everything.
And I suppose to say this just for Joe Crazy's satisfaction, because I mean we've developed a lot of good friends along the way too, and it's been awesome.
Yeah.
You ain't seen nothing yet. Let's just put it that way. We got another 10 years to go, and you know what? We've done a lot of great things, but I'm willing to push myself even further when it comes to storytelling. So just wait. You ain't seen
when it
nothing
comes
yet.
to storytelling, I have a good line from They Live, and Roddy Piper delivers it. He's in the bank. He racks his shotgun, pumps one off. I'm here for two things: kicking ass and chewing bubble gum.
And we're
all out of bubble gum.
Absolutely.
Let's go.
Let's kick ass and take names, guys. All right. So with that, we'll sign off. Like I said, I mean, this isn't alcohol, but just huge toast for these last 10 years and the next 10 years.
Water. Cheers.
Yeah, that's fine.
Hot chocolate.
Nice.
And to you out there, the audience who I know are probably watching the Super Bowl, so that's probably why audience is limited tonight. Timing, but you know what? I couldn't do it any other time, so I had to do it tonight.
Right.
But again, yeah. But yeah,
I just thought of something crazy, just out of nowhere. I know. So you did put out there, you're like a potential for a new season, potential work in the future. I just want you to think about something. At some point, you may be able to animate Heroscape that I worked on.
Absolutely.
And then, that is. I just thought about that. I'm like, that would be cool.
Guaranteed.
I would be like,
Jeremy, guaranteed.
I'd be like, hey.
it's a damn near guarantee.
Let's go.
That's going to be the case. But again, I shout out to anybody there in the chat, Beatdown Hero Guy, anybody who's watching this after. Again, leave a comment. Leave a comment below. Get in that contest. We're going to have more contests.
Thumbs down, something, anything, preferably the thumbs up, and subscribe if you're not. We know we're watching you.
Subscribe, become a member, because
we know.
Even though the backstages for this particular stream are for free. are for free this time. Usually requires being a member to see some of the backstages where we do some goofy stuff on the backstage, which we will after when this particular stream is done as well. But
for the record, we're all nut jobs. Just saying. We're all bona fide Section 8 military grade A. Come on.
Which makes things very interesting. All right, so with that, I thank everybody for watching. See you guys when we stream. Again, Jeremy, Sean, link description below for information for those guys. And see you guys next time. You have a purpose in your life. Find it.
Y'all be good or good at it.
Pursue it and live it. And later now. Until Renegade Con. Yeah, that's it.
Go.
Right. Have a good night, everybody. Later.